And now to one of the most infamous crime stories of the 20th century, masterfully re-examined in a nearly 8-hour documentary from ESPN Films and Lalo Films about the life and legacy of O.J. Simpson. O.J. Made in America. The documentary draws from more than 70 interviews from longtime friends and colleagues of O.J. Simpson and civil rights leaders to members of his legal team and the prosecution. The documentary is an engrossing look at a tragic American tale. Director Ezra Edelman took a wide view by putting O.J.'s story in context, his childhood, the history of the African-American community in LA, police relations in the wake of Rodney King, and the train wreck of race and celebrity that made the case so hypnotic. The DuPont jury called his accomplishment extraordinary. In this clip, we'll hear from one of the jurors in Simpson's murder trial reflect on the verdict.
The majority of the world, or the majority of Americans, think that we're a group of idiots who didn't get it right. I think that the jury was made to be the scapegoat for their faults. It was a mistake to present Furman the way they did. It was a mistake to let Darden get up there and be a part of that case. Had they come correct, had they had the right attorneys up there putting on the case that they need to put on, they would have won. It wasn't payback. They messed up.
It may have been payback, but it wasn't payback for anything that happened recently. It was payback for what's happened over the last 400 years. It was payback for how black people are treated in America. I believe that that was on the minds of every black person in America.
In the matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA097211. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty.
Please welcome to the podium Director Ezra Edelman.
The irony of that clip, I think, is followed a little bit by the irony of standing here accepting an award at Columbia Journalism School when I think the only reason why this film was made in many ways was this period in time during this trial, which frankly probably wasn't journalism's best hour. And I think that that was a time when an appetite and a hunger was not met by the sustenance on the part of many beyond news organizations, but people who use that moment in time for financial gain and other things. To be here in this room, I mean, it is beyond humbling with these courageous journalists, lions of journalism in this profession. For us, Tamara Rosenberg, a graduate of the J School, Nina Christic, Caroline Waterlow, we just sort of set out to figure out a way to tell a good story and tell a story about something that, frankly, I think everyone in this room already thought they knew. I think the only way that we could have done this, while we all consider ourselves documentary filmmakers, that's what we are, and storytellers first and foremost, I think there was no other way to approach this except by being a journalist, by being an intrepid journalist. You know, what Tamara and Caroline did by tracking down legions of people across America with the help of our incredible production assistant, Brian Becker, was like any technique that any investigative journalist would use, and would have been impossible to do without the time provided by, and the resources by, ESPN. What Nina Christic did, tracking down every piece of footage in what ultimately is almost an 8-hour film, is, borderline impossible, but she did it. So to stand here today, having sort of figured out a way to tell a story like this over this amount of time is humbling. I do have to thank ESPN, because I think that you can't do something like this without both the resources and the independence and freedom. And what Connor Schell, whose idea it was to make this film in the first place, and so it's a little weird also to stand up to accept an award for something that you did that wasn't even your idea. Libby Geist and Deirdre Fenton, again, the resources, the freedom, the support to do this for something that started off as a really short film. It was supposed to be 5 hours. And they allowed us to, through the course of working on it, to have it expand to, fill out the form that I feel like it needed to be to tell the story properly. For that, I'm eternally grateful. And finally, I wanted to thank Columbia. This is an incredible honor. Thank you.